y'all take some time off, like a lot of time off during COVID? Were you able to do anything?
I mean, we didn't gig as a band.
Right, but were you doing like the live stream? I know a lot of people were doing live streams.
We did a live stream pretty much every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then we did a Monday thing too.
How was that for you? I know we've talked to other people that were like the live stream thing was just a kind of a necessary evil for them.
It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lifeline, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an incredible amount of work.
I can only imagine. I just from doing these interviews, where we're trying to get that hum out, or you're trying to get this out, and trying to get it to where it sounds good.
Yeah, the sound. Cool.
And then all of a sudden, I can't imagine trying to put 4 or 5 guys in a live stream, or even just a guy on a guitar, and hope that it comes out right. I mean,
there were many. You see those shows where there's all this chaos, and then the curtain goes up, and everybody's all dead.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. It was just fucking chickens flying around and chaos and cats and babies crying, and then the red light comes on. It's like, hi everybody, it's so good to see you.
I promise I'm having a good day.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah.
I can't wait to make this $112 in virtual deals.
Yeah. So you guys had an interesting go of it, I'm sure.
We did. It was, they shut us down for 8 weeks solid. We were really, and that's the reason that the outside is covered like it is now. Oddly enough, last year we got 2 shows rained out. One of them was Sundance Head, and the other one was just one of our cover bands, and we had to like shuffle and move them inside. But they had a huge crowd, and it was miserable. And then Rita and I, because it was during COVID, and we had a little bit more time, to kind of venture out. We went to Fry to see Zach Walther. He plays there on Wednesdays, and he plays here some. And just out of spur of the moment, we said we're going to go check out Fry.
Yeah.
Hear about it all the time, and we went, and they've got that half covered, kind of half uncovered.
Right.
And we were sitting there and looking at their stage and watching them play. And I told Rita, I said, we got this same setup with the big outdoor. I said we could cover some of it with that big tree in the middle. We can't cover it all. So that was kind of how that birthed. And it has rained and rained and rained this year since we've had it up. It's been good. I mean, it has saved us this year. Just kind of like having the outdoor last year when you couldn't. Indoor dining was a big.
That was the only way we could operate was having that.
So we moved all the bands outside. Everything was outside, and if it rained, we just didn't. We just sent them home.
But could you stay open because you were outside?
Because we were outside, and because our food sales were over 50%, we weren't categorized as a bar. We were categorized as a restaurant, and so it worked out really, really okay for us.
It was a blessing for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. But we were like, we're going to cover this thing. So, and I mean, we've already had how many shows? I mean, with a ticketed show last night. I mean, it rained for 2 hours.
We would have to send. I mean, there was 100 people out there that we would have, would have had to leave or try to crowd inside. It's a little tight in there.
Inside.
So
Here's to the roof.
Josh Ward 2 weeks ago. I don't know, 250 people out there, and it rained from the time we started to the time we got done.
No doubt.
And I wanted to visit with you because we were talking about this a little bit earlier.
We found out some interesting stuff.
And I really did. Wikipedia is a little cool ass tool. But anyway, the main thing I wanted to, just kind of visit with you is that you were here, and I best I can remember, it was spring of 2014.
Jason and I were talking about that. That sounds about right.
Yeah. And y'all had a show in Dallas, and then had a show in Corpus, and we're trying to find something in between, and you just called and said, can we pick something up? And gave us just a bargain of a lifetime to have Max Stalling inside like that, and then y'all did the full band show, and packed that 1,500 square foot inside, or I think it's 1,850 by the way. It's not yet. And just packed it, and everybody was blown away. And then in November of 15, we had you back with Gary P. Nunn. Y'all did the song swap thing and
Gary.
sold that dang thing out also.
Yeah, that was fun. And my recollection is that's all there was.
That's it.
It was just that room.
It was that one little bitty room.
Yeah.
That was pre-expansion with the dining room. The bathrooms were just
Well, it's
the bathrooms were 8 by 18 for the men and the women.
Yeah.
Women had 2 spots with shower curtains over the toilet, and the men had a trough They ran along the wall like that in a toilet with no partition. So if nature called, you just had to kind of wing it in front of the world and
try to think of the best conversation.
yeah, exactly. While you're sitting there, when a guy's
there.
standing there peeing right there, you know, and you're like,
you take a newspaper in there.
I don't know where to look.
Good point. Yeah, just act like nobody's in there with you.
We tried everything to. It wasn't big enough to put a partition on. We tried everything to put a lock on it, you know, a little old gate latch, and they'd pull them off when it was latched. And we even talked about drilling a hole through it and putting a rope where the guy, if he was on the commode, he could hold the rope. And I had it all figured out. And my contractor Cody, who's like 6'5", and you know I don't know what he weighs, but he's a big handsome fella. And he said, "Well, I tell you what, you get on that pot and hold the end of that rope, and I'm gonna jerk on this door." He said, "That weighs me like 150 pounds, and see how this gonna work out for you."
We'll see who wins.
See who wins this tug of war.
Yeah.
We all have come a long ways.
Well,
It's
we're
been,
we're proud of it.
You should be. You should be. It's a beautiful space, and always look forward to get to come here.
It's awesome. So one of the things that blew me away when I was just doing the whole Wikipedia, I didn't have any really cool photos, but you worked for Frito Lay as a research scientist.
Yes.
Went to
I
A&M.
was an R&D scientist. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I did that I worked for another company for 5 years doing R&D for them, and then I went to work for Frito Lay, and I did that for 5 years as I was secretly building my music career.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that yours is just like everybody, whether it's George Strait or Garth Brooks or anybody else. You just start playing the Kenney Stores of the world, and then just
Progress from
one gig, one handshake, one T-shirt at a time. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Was songwriting always a knack for you? Did you like it?
I don't know
from
about a
young age?
knack, but I certainly it became an absolute passion.
Really?
It was like this is all I want to do. I feel like I might owe PepsiCo and Frito Lay some money because they were paying me to sit there and think about snack foods, and I was actually like
Writing songs.
finishing the chorus to some song.
Wow.
But it wasn't something that I'd ever done before. But once I started doing it, it consumed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've heard that. There's been several people that have been in that seat or one of the other seats. That Wyatt McCubbin was one of them. He's a writer that has been here before. He's in Nashville, and he said the same exact thing. As soon as I found it, and it consumed me.
It's
he said
like
it was a
I've never
passion.
done heroin, but it must be like heroin because once you get it and it starts flowing through your veins, it's just like
It's a thing.
more. I want this all the time.
That's cool.
Can you ever turn it off?
No,
See, that's,
you can do a bad job of because there's the songwriting process is always kind of going on, but then there's the work part. It's the sitting down and diligence to capture your thoughts and organize your thoughts and remember what key it was in and remember what the chord structure was, and then taking it to fruition and making a finished recording. You can get pretty piss poor at that. But the songwriting process, at least for me, man, I'm always tinkering with something.
it doesn't matter.
No.
Driving down the road, somebody cuts you
that's
off.
the best time.
That's the best.
Quiet, long, straight, narrow, roads with no other traffic where you can just zone out and like, man, I was just in Abilene. Where
Right.
am I now?
Right.
Those are the best.
What's the most awkward moment that a song title came to head, or line in a song, or something like that? I mean,
I will not lie. Now that I have an iPhone, I have a lot of stuff that's in my iPhone, and I won't tell you that some of them didn't occur in the throne room.
right?
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I didn't know if in the middle of an argument, a line was said from either you or Heather, and you were like, I gotta write that down as soon as I prove this point.
There's definitely some things that I would like to write down.
Right.
Sometimes you got to know when to do that.
Those voice memos are a very, very, very critical tool to to almost every songwriter nowadays. On that iPhone, those voice memos, everyone uses
I
them.
used to have little cassettes, like mini
Yeah.
cassettes, and then I've had regular cassette recorders, and but it's with me 24/7. It's right by the bed every night. It's just always there, and so yeah,
It's a great tool.
And I'm terrified of moving from an old phone to a new phone because I'm
Scared
worried
you
that
to
it's
lose your note.
I'm gonna lose all that stuff.
Right.
I just had to get a new number because I moved back here. I've only been back here since November, helping my parents. But I had to change my number and get a new phone.
Yeah.
And when I I had the same exact oh shit moment when I pulled it back up when they had switched everything over. All my voice memos were gone. They weren't working.
They take a while to repopulate.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what happened the last time. And I went back into the store and I was like,
This is
Y'all
not
don't
good.
understand.
excuse me, sir. I need to talk to you for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know where the cloud is, but go
Right.
get it and
Can
bring
you-
it over here.
Can you point out the cloud to me? Because I need to go in there.
We gotta get some
That's
stuff
right.
out of there, some important things. Yeah, phones have definitely changed everything, and the ability for people to do the live streams and stuff like that, I think, is one of the. There's a lot of negatives to the technology, but I think being able to work during COVID was one of the great things. You know, there's a lot of positives that we get to experience and enjoy now that songwriters back in the day didn't necessarily have didn't have access to at all.
Yeah, net, it's a big positive.
For sure.
Yeah.
When did you start? I mean, and I know this is so subjective for everybody or whatever. I mean, and I mean, at what age do you? I guess that was after college when you were at Frito Lay, where you're like, man, this thing is what I want to do.
I started. I mean, like you say, it depends on where you want to put the marker in the sand. Was it the first time you stepped on a stage publicly and played, or was it the first time you picked up an instrument and like recorded something, or wrote something that was your own? Man, I started really tinkering with it. I started piddling around on the guitar when I was in graduate school at A&M, and then, but it was when I was in Dallas, and I went to a beer joint called the Three Teardrops Tavern, and I kind of had this idea in the back of my mind about songwriting. I didn't really know why or how, and then I met all these people that were going to this one bar, and it's where all the Texas music and Americana. It's where Gary P. and Robert Earl Keen and Jerry Jeff Walker, everybody who played in Dallas, Guy Clark, all came and played at this bar. And it was just this really cool, funky subculture, and that was it. That was it. That was all she wrote.
What do you think? What do you think drew those guys to that bar? Was it huge? Was it small?
No, it really wasn't a very
way,
big place. It just, the guy who owned it just was a real. He had created kind of a unique and different kind of a place. There were certainly other rooms to play in Dallas,
right.
But it was just a funky joint. Heather and I met at the Three Teardrops. We didn't know each other, but we met. We had met there. We realized years and years and years later.
Wow.
So
That's
everybody
awesome.
kind of circled. It was a very, very funky, cool place.
Cool.
Yeah.
Still open, I wonder?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. A guy named John Bailey had it, and it was like it burned Nova hot for about 5 years, and then just went away. He decided he wanted to do something else.
Well, the bar business will do that to you
I
sometimes.
can, yeah, it sure can.
Really will.
So I salute you guys for, what is it? What'd you say? 14 years? 15 years?
No, actually, we started in 13, so we're at 8.5.
You're doing good. You're doing all the good.
Before that, Rita and I were police officers. She had
Right, I
20
knew
years,
that.
and I was 16. So,
Mhm.
and really, when we bought this, I mean, it was just going to be kind of like a little retirement thing for her. She was young enough to where she'd been with the state for 20 years, and she said, "I'm just gonna." She really wanted to do food. She just wanted to do food.
Always been a great cook.
And always. I mean, my dad built a steakhouse in Navasota back in '03, and me and my brother helped ran that and did that for 3 years. And I went back to police officing after we sold that. And Rita always was doing the law enforcement, but always along the way we were doing catering for friends' weddings. She started a little casserole to go business to where she would take it to all the nursing homes, like the assisted livings. And people would order like meals for two, and she would just take it and we'd deliver it. And Jacob could remember every weekend, it's out with a little old kitchen about this size, and it wasn't this big.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't this big because you used it for a bedroom before we commandeered it.
Y'all wouldn't have given me this.
When you moved to Nashville is when we took over. Like, well, Jacob's out, we're taking that thing in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We'd make them casseroles and deliver it, the nursing homes and whatever. And
Had a fried ice cream trailer.
we had fried ice cream at the Blue Bonnet Festival. We sold
You guys
fried
have done it all.
cheesecake. Oh, we were.
They always had something
we
going
were
on.
damn near glorified carnies for about 8 or 9 years there trying to get in the restaurant business.
Yeah, no doubt.
And we bought this and there wasn't no kitchen or anything, and we just kind of took off, and it wasn't 3 months and I was having to go to my boss, the constable, and go, I gotta quit. She can't do this by herself, all by herself. Well, it was at the point where she said, I gotta hire somebody to help me, and I said, well, I might as well quit because I'm gonna work all day and then I'm gonna come in and tell you what he did wrong or she did wrong. I said it's just easier if if you tell me what I did wrong than me trying to tell somebody that's worked here all day.
That's gotta step out.
Yeah.
So I had a good opportunity. Alan Rosen gave me the opportunity to take like a 6-month leave of absence. Said, hey, I've owned a business before. If it don't work out, I'll save your spot.
No, that's great.
Gave me a really good parachute, and we've never looked back as far as that side of it goes. And I will tell you, we started it. It was going to be a little beer joint and a restaurant, and within 2 weeks, we booked a band called the Westoneers because there was a chili cook-off right down the road that now we host here every year, and it brings 30, 40 teams and raise money for the volunteer fire department here. And it was down the road to Kenney Hall, and we started booking bands, and then, I mean, it's so hard to explain. I mean, I think the turning moment for us, two that I remember distinctly. One is when Max Stalling called and said, man, I need a pickup gig. And we saw that something more than just a guy on the guitar, could be some growth to the store.
It would have been a year after y'all had bought it.
Yeah.
You said 14.
And
right?
we were doing like Friday. We didn't even do music on Friday. On Saturdays we'd have a local band, and when you called, and then Corb Lund, I always say that wrong way, called and was doing like South by Southwest, and somehow had heard about it and said, hey, I'm coming through and I just need a pickup gig on my way to Dallas. I'll do like an afternoon show and then I'll get up there and stay the night, and I got to go up there. And I don't share what we pay artists, but he grossly underbid himself. And we were like, man, we're gonna do crawfish and try to get some people in here. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I know about the music business. I didn't know what kind of a person he was. And I'm talking about them people packed this man, it looked like you were giving away free George Strait tickets at Green Hall or something. I mean, you couldn't move in that thing. And I mean, we were trying to get crawfish to people. And I said, okay, let's see what we can do with what we got. And then we started that Wednesday night concert series because Kinky Freeman just wanted to, after his railroad commission thing, he said, I want to do a concert. I said, okay. But it really had, I will say that the Kenney Store being where it is now today, you had a huge part in that. Wow. And that's really why I wanted to talk to you, because you came from that little bitty stage where, it couldn't get 100 people in there, and now, I mean, we can put 400 or 500 people outside, and without seeing that spark that you gave us.
Well, I'm very pleased to know that. That makes me very happy.
Well, and that's why as long as you want to play here, you'll always have a spot on that stage as far as Rita and I and Jacob are concerned.
Well, thank you very much. Well, we're wildly impressed with what you've done with the place. It's really incredible. It truly is.
Are you making any new music now? You working on anything?
Well, that's what I was telling you. That part about being really piss poor about executing? Yeah, okay. Pretty much.
All right, fair enough.
So a lot of songs and ideas, but nothing. I would not say there's a ton coming off. I think of them as coming off the vine. They're ready to come off the vine, and there's a bunch that are at 72%, and probably, I don't know, we worked up 3 or 4 with the band, I think.
If y'all can't tell the band and Heather and stuff's in the background.
Y'all see that one?
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's good to go out. You have to go out on the road and play those things live to see if they resonate with the crowd too. I would assume.
If you can possibly do it. I've done it both ways, where you just write them and record them, but it's so much better if you can quote unquote road test them and get them out there. And it does a couple of things. One, it tells you if you got a dead fish, or it tells you get the chance to kind of sing it and massage it and nuances and find different ways to voice things and make tweaks to it before you just go in and because if you go and do it in a studio just without ever, it's just, it's kind of like just cookie cutter. Let's see what that does.
Yeah, you don't have enough time with it.
You get a little more nuance. You get to know it better and know its subtleties.
I know, everybody does it different, and I don't think there's any right or wrong way. When you go in the studio, do you take Heather and the guys with you, or do you work with studio musicians?
The first couple of records I did, I had studio musicians. The last 3 records have been, 4 records. And then we've done a couple of live ones. Been the band.
That's cool.
How's the live aspect of it is that how much more difficult is that than just going in the studio and trying to do it? I mean, is it
It's apples and oranges. I mean,
really?
well, I say that. It's the same thing. It's just the live is live and the studio is a studio.
Which one do you enjoy more? I guess would have been a better question. Do you enjoy the studio?
I love
time?
the studio. I think it's fun. It's a whole different creative process than the live aspect. It's really hard to say. I mean,
If you had to make
I
one
wish the
tomorrow,
studio
which
weren't so friggin' expensive,
one? Right.
because
Sure.
it's a really cool thing, but it's like it's an expensive proposition. But it's when you're there and you're doing it, it's there's nothing like it. And when you finish it and you're like, whoa, this is cool.
That's
And when you hear something that was just a guitar and a voice, and then it becomes
big thing.
something so much bigger.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night is
Tomorrow night is the Do-Si-Do down in
Down in
the
Woodland.
Woodlands. Yeah.
awesome venue.
Yeah, great
And
venue.
a
Yeah.
wonderful job. I mean,
Yeah.
we're blessed to be surrounded by, between Do-Si-Do and Main Street Crossing and Tomball and Abbey Road there at Copeland. We're not in this tug of war with these
Yeah.
radius clauses because we're all within that
Right.
100 miles.
Right.
And I mean, somebody calls me and or I call booking agent and say, hey, I want to book this person. They're like, man, it's kind of a one-off deal. Okay, well, call Lisa over at Main Street.
Yeah.
Call Do-Si-Do, call
Yeah.
Abby down at Copeland, and let's just make a run.
What
and
is
it works.
is
so
it the
good.
Independence Trail?
That would be exactly
This is the
right.
the music trail.
Right, and it just really, you can just kind of stair step it. I mean, we have so many people that are, I'll be here on Wednesday and they're on Thursday and Friday, and then,
Well, I hope you know how much you're appreciated. It's like ships at sea. It's really great to see the lighthouse and know that there's a
That's
warm,
cool.
comfortable spot.
we're in that prime spot, just dead in between Houston and Austin,
Yeah.
and we're small enough to where they're not worried about us,
Well, and I'll
they
tell
don't-
you something else. You guys are good,
Oh man.
and that makes a big difference.
Man, that means the world to us. Because I mean, we've just said since day one that we were going to keep live music alive in Kenney, Texas. Because I grew up. I was born about 96 or 97, what I would call the dance era,
Mm-hmm.
where the dance halls you couldn't up until 96 or 97. You could go to a dance every Friday night, every Saturday night, whether it was an SBJST or this
Yeah.
or that, and you could go. And he just died, and I don't know what killed it, but they just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, we've talked about that. The dance halls, there used to be one in every town had a dance
Easily.
hall, and now there's places to play, but dance halls, Copeland Dance Hall,
Schrader.
Green Hall, Schrader. It's a short list.
It's very
It's a
short.
real short
Now,
list.
did I hear correctly that Broken Spoke is gone now, or is it still there? Just the guy.
The
guy died, the
what's
owner.
Mr. White.
Mr.
Yeah.
White, Buddy White,
Yeah.
right? No.
Mr. White. That's why I
Mr.
said
White.
Mr. White, because I can't think.
I
of
couldn't
I-
think of
I-
his name
I-
either. But that was another, classic.
I mean, yeah, and I know he passed away. I'm assuming it's still going,
not
but
sure.
I don't know because I
Yeah.
mean between Mrs. White and the girls and stuff like that. I hope they kept it going. I hate to say it, but I mean, when you own a restaurant and a live music venue, you don't get to visit all your peers or your
Yeah.
people in the same industry. You just don't get away that much.
Yeah.
Because
I got a question because I see my parents do this on a daily basis.
Okay.
Working with your wife,
Yes.
how is that? Y'all enjoy
It's
it?
absolutely fantastic.
I figured that would be your answer. Have y'all? So when y'all met at that bar, I would assume you had been playing for a long time and just for your talent.
What's interesting, what my point was on that is I met Heather. We've been together now 16 years. Been married 14. Been together 16. I met her 32 years ago. I'm just saying
Right.
we crossed
Wow.
paths.
That
Our
was
paths
when y'all
crossed
crossed
in that
paths
place,
again.
but then we
Okay.
didn't wind up connecting until much later. So you had a point, and then I just totally
No,
ran over it.
that's okay. I was just, as far as the day-to-day being, because y'all are on the road, in that hectic environment,
Yes.
and y'all are together all the time. It's just, I see my parents and they make it work so well, and I always admired people that were able to work together, and y'all seem to have such a great relationship. So it's cool to see other people that are able to do that, because it's difficult.
It's important to be good friends.
Sure.
It's really important to be good friends and to have
Really short memory.
short memory and a lot of respect.
That's the biggest thing that I agree with that. I mean, it's because it's I ain't gonna say it's tough, but you know, a lot of marriages need time alone. You know, need that, and where we came from, where I'd be gone for 2 days working extra jobs, or you know, getting overtime, or you know, whatever it was, to go into opening your eyes. And I mean, from the moment you open your eyes, and as y'all know, you can't cut that off any more than you can when your music is your business. You can't cut it off.
No.
You can't just say, oh, we're just gonna check out now. You're riding down the road talking about what we need to be doing. We need to get this. We need to get more T-shirts ordered. I'm sure.
There's a lot of that. Yes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, in the middle of a TV, like just zoning out, watching something, click. You know, we really need to get some more of these. Blah blah blah. blah.
We'll be eating dinner.
Yeah.
Right.
And mom's, you know, I'm halfway through my spaghetti. It's delicious. You know, I'm good. I'm doing well. Did you change those mouse traps out
Right.
at the store?
Lord.
What did you do?
But
Yeah.
being self-employed is its own. It's the way to. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, I agree. We used to get away on Mondays when we were closed, and go to the lake and take the boat. We'd get out there on the boat, and we'd start riding around, and you'd realize after about 30 minutes, we hadn't spoken at all. And I'd be driving the boat, we'd be trolling, so we'd go real slow, you know, and she'd be over there, she'd have it out this side, and I'd go, you good? She'd go, I'm fine. You know, like, you ain't need to talk to me. We've been talking for 6 days straight. We don't need to talk. We'll just take some time and quiet, you know. So, or we'd sit there in the living room, you know, and she'd be on her phone. I'd be watching TV, and 2 hours would go by. Everything good? Oh, it's lovely. It's quiet. So, well, I mean, that was really, that was all we really had. I just wanted to kind of get caught up and see where you're at, and wanted to let the world know that, or at least all 256 subscribers that we've got, that Kenney Store really wouldn't be where it was at today if it wasn't for guys like you. And I mean, I've got to throw, Andrew and Chad and those guys at Red 11 are so easy to work with.
I'm pleased to hear that. That makes me very happy.
Man. And not that the other booking agencies aren't great and aren't needed, but I know when I pick up the phone and call Red 11, you know, whether it's Jeff and John in Nashville, or it's, you know, like I said, Chad and Andrew in Austin there, we're going to be able to get some work done, you know, and I wish they had 100 more artists, you know, because it just would, you got a good booking agents, and then they work really hard for you, and they think the world of you.
Well, likewise, I feel good about those guys. They're special. They're special.
They really are. I mean, from what I've seen in the industry, they take it that one step above. So
Yeah.
Well, we're really looking forward to hearing y'all play.
We're looking forward to being here. We
So,
really
You want me to do a little outro?
Thank you very much for
Yeah,
having us.
absolutely.
It's always a pleasure.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another interview here at the Back Porch Studio. From myself, Max Stalling, and Tony Krieger, we'll see you next time.
bye-bye.